right after the land claims passed, people were really concerned about, very concerned about how they were going to implement the Land Claims Act. And the villages, especially the very small villages, I think South Naknek had maybe around 200, Port Hayden had maybe 80 something, and through traditional family ties and friendships that went back for generations, Port Hayden and South Naknek decided that they would merge together in order to preserve their capital. So you wouldn't have to hire have two offices and two different accountants and two different people to manage the offices. So that saved a tremendous amount of cash for us. It was a wise thing, I believe, because it saved the capital so in order for us to invest.
The reason Meshik Incorporated decided to merge because we were a small corporation, and we had good connections with South Naknek. And that was in 78, and in 80, Kakanak and Ugashik came on, and in 81, New Haven came on, and that made Alaska Peninsula Corporation.
South Naknek, that's Kanuyan, Port Hayden, Meshik, Ugashik Native Corp, Kakanak, and New Haven. We spent a lot of time together with the merger committees, the presidents. I was one of them, Johnny Christensen was the other from Port Hayden, Paul Matsuno from Ugashik, Peter John from Igiagik, or New Haven, and John Nielsen from Kakanak. Well, we spent a lot of time with BB&C's merger plan, and that was rejected, and we realized that we all got along well together, and so we began to talk about, well, let's see what we can do among ourselves. What's the next solution here? Because we all knew that we were small, we all knew that we had 100,000 acres of land or more, and we all knew that whenever we held annual meetings or board meetings and did the annual audit, it didn't leave enough money left to do the accounting and have an office structure.
With the land consolidation, it was pretty close to 400,000 acres. For one thing, we've been taught from the very beginning that our land is that we're connected to the land. All of us are. And everybody wanted to protect the land. To this day, no one has sold. We're one of the very few corporations that has not sold any land for capital. I think that's important because it goes back to the mission statement. Now, our villages have come from a melting pot because the commercial fishery was started in the latter 1890s. So there are people in those villages from all over Alaska, actually, and different countries. But the original people were, in the first two villages, were the Alutiiq Sugpiuks. But then people don't stay in one place, they travel. So right now it's just about everybody you can name that from any ethnicity in Alaska is in each of the villages.
The issue that came up when we were first organized was how do we have fairness on the board and still have a broad representation from on the board structure. We needed to have a board that was going to look look at all of the other villages and treat them as their own asset, as their own people. You know, up until that point, our own people were those that were around us in the villages, and so we had to find board members that had that vision of unity among the 5 villages, and so we started out with the elders and looking at their assets and how they've been able to keep their people together. People like Nick Christensen was certainly instrumental in having that vision. I remember Nick having to constantly remind us that we were, whenever the young board was able to begin to think about different things, we had to look at the impacts to all of the other villages when we did something. But it was good to have that kind of early leadership. I remember Johnny Christensen was the president of Michigan when we merged, and he became the vice president of Alaska Peninsula Corporation. Johnny was kind of important early on too, because we were a little nervous about making big decisions, and Johnny was always a businessman first, and so he drilled that home to us that we needed to man up and make hard decisions, and so we did. We learned from that, and as a result of it, we were able to work well together. I think that today, when we look at the structure of APC, without any debt, we don't have any long-term debt. We have almost 400,000 acres of land. We have an office structure. We have a board that finally understands that their job is to make decisions and direct management to implement those decisions, and wait for results from management before we go to the next level. So I think we've come a long way, and I'm kind of proud of where we're at. We know that there's a lot of our shareholders may have had a greater expectation based on some of the dividends that are being paid. We didn't have timber on our lands, so we couldn't sell timber like some of the villages in Southeast. We didn't have any monumental net operating losses that we could have sold to refit our company. So we've had to kind of do everything the old-fashioned way, and I think that we're stronger for it.
Right now, because there are very few original shareholders left, we have 856 shares or shareholders, but most of them are descendants really or to grow gifted, and a real huge need to import those shareholders who are educated and can now step in and help build the corporation.